I'm Yoko, and welcome back to my series of drawing all the Animal Crossing New Horizons villagers as humans. Today we have part 1 of the mice. It's been a while since the last one of these, so here's a quick recap for how this works. I went by each villager species in New Horizons and gave each character a score between 1 and 6. Then I got the collective average for the species as a whole, and I'm drawing them in order of my least favorite species to eventually my favorite species. That way I'm more motivated to keep going. I recommend checking out the playlist linked below or in a card above if you're interested in how I've personally ranked the other species so far. I've only gone through 4 species before this, so overall the mice are still pretty low. I also draw the villagers from my least favorite to most liked, so this first part will have my lesser liked of the mice, but I hope you still like it anyway. But now that that's all said, let's just get into them already. Starting with my least favorite mouse, Limburg, who I gave a score of 1. Stinky man. Quick reminder that even if I don't like a villager, I will never design them bad on purpose. He is a cranky villager with the catchphrase squinky, and the picture quote, "Don't build a better mousetrap." His skill is making faces, and he wants to be mayor. Good luck with that, bud. So Limburg is my least favorite mouse because I really don't like how the 5 o'clock shadow looks on villagers in general. As well as his face in general is just very unappealing. He's named after Limburger cheese, I think, which is apparently very smelly, so I can only imagine that he smells as well, and it just doesn't paint a pretty picture. Despite all of this, his house in New Horizons is actually really pretty with a red-leaved tree aesthetic and like a pond and stuff, but I guess that also implies that he lives in a forest. Design-wise, I kept his fuzzy face, but I think it looks much better on a human design rather than slapping it on a mouse. I also gave him short, very messy hair and kept the Hanten jacket he was wearing in-game and added pants I thought fit. Hope I said that right. I gave him shoes that kind of looked more like uncomfy slippers, and this is the type of guy I think that wouldn't wear socks. I say as someone who doesn't wear socks sometimes. I'm pretty sure I made him look too soft of his expression, and because I gave him blue eyes due to most animals having black dots, and I get tired of darker eyes, but I think the blue eyes helped make him look less cranky and more, cute. But yeah, that's my Limburg design. He looks less like a cranky, unwashed man who lives in the woods, and more like the goofy, unwashed man who lives in the woods, who's doing his best. Oops. Hope you guys like his design regardless. Next up is Candy, who I also gave a score of 1. She is a peppy villager with the catchphrase Sweetie, which she shares with Violet the gorilla, who I've drawn before. And her picture quote is, "The players may change, but the music stays the same." Her skill is home repair, and she wants to be a judge. Very all over the place with her, especially because some bonus info on her talks even more about how she likes music and wants to make some of her own. Imagine going to court and your judge makes music on the side and you've listened to it. Anyway, Candy as a villager. I can't unsee that her dimples look like they should be eyes. And if you hadn't heard of that before, I'm sorry to be the one to point it out, but just look at her dimples. They look like they should be eyes. Overall, she doesn't really stand out much to me, so that's why she's my second least favorite mouse. She's just kind of creepy. As for how I drew her, I had to keep her giant dimples, but I don't really know how to draw them, because I don't think I've drawn them before and in my style, while still making them look huge. So she kind of looks like her face got stung by bees. Oops. I put her hair up in pigtails with big old blue ribbons to resemble her ears, which, side note, really like the blue ears. I'm a sucker for blue in general. Blue's my favorite color. I also like the little swirl of hair that I kept by her ear to add some visual interest. I kept her tunic dress and gave her pink leggings that are striped to look like her tail. And yeah, that's basically my Candy drawing. I think she turned out pretty cute, pretty sweet if I do say so myself. Wait, I just realized why her catchphrase is Sweetie. It's because Candy. I'm smart. Anyway. She gives me super bubbly teen vibes, and her dimples don't look like eyes, so that's already a plus to her design. Hope you guys like her. Next up is Moose, who is our last score of 1. He's a jock villager with the catchphrase Shorty, and the picture quote, "A cornered rat will summon the courage to bite a cat." His skill is telling jokes, and he also wants to be mayor. Again, good luck, dude. His house also gives me bachelor pad vibes, but he also looks like he lives in a garage. Overall, my dislike of Moose comes from his hair and expression in game. I know his hair is like his whole gimmick because his name comes from Moose, the hair product, and also because it sounds funny because it's kind of like mouse. But I still don't like the hair. When designing him as a human, I tried to keep his hair similar, but I have no idea if it looks like he was styled it with Moose because I don't know how that looks. I tried to look up references, but I am confusion. I also added some scruff on his chin, and I also kept his expression pretty much the same, including some teeth sticking out for the buck teeth. Also, I know mice are tiny, and that's why his catchphrase is shorty, but I thought it would be more visually interesting if he was on the taller side, but I don't think that's really noticeable in this drawing. Also, his picture quote references that rats in it, so I think he might be a rat instead of a mouse. Countering trying to make him taller and stuff, I tried to give him a skinnier body type. Clothing-wise, his star shirt reminds me of Steven Universe, so I imagine him as a nerdier type. I say as someone who has watched Steven Universe. And I gave him blue pants and shorts that match his hair. Not shorts, shoes. Shoes that match his hair. And that's basically Moose. I know he's a jock, but I picture him more as a nerdy jock that more so likes playing things like darts and pool while watching sports on TV since he has darts and pool in his house. He does not have a TV, he's broke. Hope you like him. Next up is Rizzo, who is my first score of 2. He is a cranky villager with the catchphrase, "Squee!" and the picture quote, "Evil lurks everywhere." His skill is subsistence living, which I can't say, and is also kind of sad. And his goal is to be a police officer. And this is where I expose myself as not knowing a lot of things about the Muppets, but apparently his name in English is a reference to Rizzo the Rat. As for his low score, I'm just not a fan of how he looks. I know the cloth or hakamuri, sorry if I butchered that, around his head is to reference that he looks how thieves are portrayed in pop culture, but it's just not the look for me. I guess he's also a reference to Nezumi Kozo, aka Rat Kid, who was a thief compared to Robin Hood. Some other bonus info mentions that he thinks he's a superhero, and that's kind of cute. He should join the superhero villagers like Rocket and Kid Cat and Big Top and all that. Design-wise, I kept with the thief aesthetic and kept his purple cloth even though I don't like it. I had his hair peeking out of it and made it the color of Rizzo's body. I kept the expression similar, and again, I failed to keep him cranky looking. So oops, but in my defense, he doesn't really look cranky as his normal villager anyway, so, you know. I'm really out here erasing cranky villagers' personalities just like New Horizons did. He's wearing a ninja costume in-game, so I just finished it with pants and some black socks of sandals. And to add more of his light blue body color, I have him carrying a bag that after struggling a bit to figure out how this would work, I decided it to be striped towards the opening to resemble his tail, but have a pink patch on the bottom part that would resemble his ear color. And yeah, here's my Rizzo. I really like how he turned out with the bandana thingy. That just sucked to draw and continues to be my least favorite part of his design. I'm just not a fan of the whole tied under the nose part. Hope you guys like him though. Next up is Penelope, who also got a score of 2. She's a peppy villager with the catchphrase, "Oh, Bo," which, despite referencing a hair bow, makes me think of Bo Burnham's song, "Oh, Bo." So now I have that stuck in my head. Thank you, Penelope. Her picture quote is, "1 mile or 1,000 makes no difference to love," which is very cute, and also makes me think of another song. Her skill is photography, and she wants to be an actor. And Penelope is very cute, except for the glaring fact of her ears that I can't ignore, which is the cause of her low score. Are those her ears, or is she earless and that is a bow? Some extra info on her even has a panic over that as well, because it says, and I quote, "We want to believe that Penelope simply has unusually bow-shaped ears. The alternative is just too disturbing to contemplate." And yeah, it is disturbing, Animal Crossing. Thank you for that. Luckily, when designing her as a human, I can get rid of those yucks with her design by plopping a big pink bow on her head and having her ears visible. Instantly cuter. I designed her as a younger girl since most characters with singular big bows in media tend to be children, and I gave her short blonde hair. I also kept Penelope's mouse teeth since she's little, and I can just say she lost the other ones that were nearby. She's just losing her baby teeth. I kept her dress but stylized it a bit more to be sort of umbrella at the bottom. Her socks are also the only callback to her greenish-gray body color because I'll be honest, it clashes too much with all the other colors on her. Oh yeah, I never mentioned her house. Oh boy, she sure likes the cute furniture set in this game, doesn't she? It hurts to look at, and drawing it sucked. Like, I know I don't do the speed paints for the backgrounds because that would take too long, but here's Penelope. Design-wise, I'd say she's simple but pretty cute, and I hope you guys like her design. She's giving me less evil Mandy vibes. Next up is Anacotti, who also got a score of 2. She's a peppy villager with the catchphrase cannoli, which is very cute, and the picture quote, "The walls have ears," which makes me think of "I'm living in your walls." Her skill is oversleeping, which is a giant mood, and bold of her to call it a skill, and she wants to be a photographer. The bonus info says that despite looking sleepy, she's very bubbly and can talk your ears off. Also, side note, apparently her name in Japanese is lasagna, and that's hilarious to me. And as for her low score, I just don't vibe with her model in-game. Overall, the mice are just kind of weird looking most of the time. Her hair looks kind of strange, and if I'm honest, she looks like she's high. I don't think it helps that she's green. She should hang out with Pascal. Design-wise, I tried to make her look fashionable. I kept her lidded expression with green eyeshadow. And while I kept her bangs, I gave her longer hair, which immediately made her look better in my opinion. Most of the time, hair on villagers looks weird, but once I put them onto a human design, they look a lot better. I also gave her green and pink earrings to resemble her ears, and I kept her striped sweater and gave her light green boots that are almost up to the sweater line, with darker green pants being just barely seen between them. In the end, oops, I think I made her too attractive, but here's my Anacotti drawing. I really like her, and she might be my favorite of this first batch, so I hope you like her too. And our next mouse is Samson, who once again has a score of 2. He's another jock with the catchphrase pipsqueak, and the picture quote, "Squeak softly and carry a big stick," referencing Theodore Roosevelt's famous quote. His skill is eating frequently, and he wants to be a photographer too. He should be friends with Anacotti. Maybe Penelope is skilled with photography because she learned from these two, just random thing I just thought of. Bonus info about Samson mentions that he loves to work out, but he has an inferiority complex due to being the runt of his litter, as well as being a mouse. Poor guy. As a 4'10" adult, I feel you. As for his low score, it's mainly because he's just a gray mouse. Nothing really stands out. Beyond his giant creepy smile that when he opens his mouth and smiles, he has so many lines of teeth and it's creepy. It's not my favorite. Design-wise, I gave him messy hair that's pulled into a skinny ponytail to resemble his mouse tail. I kept his big old smile and made his shirt too big for him. I did my best to get the kanji right on it, and fun fact, the kanji on it apparently is for mori, which means forest, and is a reference to Dobutsu no Mori, which was the Japan-exclusive first game for Animal Crossing, and again, apologies for butchering any of the Japanese language. Back to Samson. I also gave him shorts and those sporty tube socks. Overall, I wanted to have a sporty, kind of rowdy, playful guy vibes, the kind that would immediately jump into the river for fun. But yeah, here's my Samson. I like him. I did my best to keep him scrawny, but don't you go calling him that, he's sensitive. Hope you guys like him. Next up, and last for part 1 of the mice, is Bettina, who is also the last score of 2. So starting next video, we will start with some freeze. She's a normal villager with the catchphrase "Eekers," which is adorable, and the picture quote, "No time like the present." Her skill is forgetting stuff, which does not pair well with her being a chef. All these skills that are just honestly insults, I swear. Which, judging by her cute diner house and outfit, by the way, I'd say she's actually already working as a chef. The main reason for her low score is her unsettling expression on her in-game model. Something about it creeps me out. I think it's due to the lack of highlights in her eyes, so they just blankly stare into your soul. Design-wise, her outfit's really easy since she's a chef and already has the top. I just added reddish-brown pants and a cute tiny chef's hat with an orange band. I swear I can talk. Bettina is out here following Remy's footsteps from Ratatouille, saying anyone can cook. I gave her a half-shaved head with cute blonde short hair that swept to the other side. I also kept her mousy mouth, so she has a bit of an owo face now, but it's pretty cute. One thing I'm not the happiest with is her yellow gloves and shoes, but Bettina has yellow feet and hands, so I couldn't just ignore it. It was bugging me. I will say that as I was drawing it, I got a flashback to all the ducks I drew last time, though. But yeah, here's Bettina. I really like how she looks, and I hope you guys do too. Let me know who your favorite design was in this video, and who your favorite mouse in Animal Crossing is in general. If they weren't in this video, they'll be in part 2 of my personally more liked mice, which should be out as a bonus video alongside my weekly Sunday videos within the next week. I want to keep the videos posted near each other. Let me know if you're looking forward to seeing part 2. And if you want, try to guess who my favorite mouse is in the game. As mentioned before, I've done 4 other species in Animal Crossing, so if you enjoyed this video, I recommend checking them out if you haven't already. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate if you could like, subscribe, and check out my socials linked below. My commissions are open if you'd like to support me that way, and it's very much appreciated. And with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with part 2. Peace.